Flicker of a flame in a broken mind, and shadows crawling where the truth won't shine. Blood on the ink, silence in the screams. Welcome to the edge of your darkest dreams. Scrolling through the wreckage, faces on the screen. Another name, another ghost caught in between. Sirens in the distance, echoes in the night. The facts get buried where the fear ignites. We chase the story, truth or myth. A cigarette burns where justice sits. Headstones and headlines, digging through the dirt where the dead still cry. Whispers in the bylines, truth don't sleep and the lies don't die. In the chains, dust in the frame, cold case heat with a soul to name. Steel in our voice, fire in the tone. We bring the buried stories home. Lights on the tape, blood on the wire. A cold world burns in a funeral fire. Headstones and headlines, digging through the dirt where the dead still cry. Whispers in the bylines, truth don't sleep and the lies don't die. Headstones and headlines, we speak the names they left behind. Can you hear 'em calling? Can you feel the silence crawl? We stare down the darkness and give a voice to them all. Headstones and headlines, digging through the dirt where the dead still cry. Whispers in the bylines, truth don't sleep and the lies don't die. Headstones and headlines, we speak the names they left behind. What is truth don't sleep and the lies don't die.
Hey everyone, happy Saturday. I hope everyone is having a good day. I had a busy day, actually. There was an adoption event that I took the 3 remaining foster kittens to. Sadly, none of them were adopted today, but one of them did have some interest. So while they were at the event, I actually broke down the crate they were in because it was getting a little too cramped in there, even with just 3 of them. And they got a nice big new enclosure. It's plastic and, or maybe it's like vinyl, and it has like 2 zipper doors that you can, give them food or do their litter, whatever. And then the whole top is a zipper, so you can like unzip the top as well. But anyways, they're having a ball in there and they have much more room, so it's going to work out really well. So today we are going to discuss Bryan Kohberger and his constant complaining about prison life. I guess in all of the research and classes he took in college and grad school didn't tell him what he should expect in prison. And some of the stuff is interesting, to say the least. Yeah, so that's what we're going to talk about today. And then I did see there's even more information coming out in regards to Emmanuel Haro and his mom and dad. Allegedly, a significant amount of blood was found in the home. Sources have told Elizabeth Vargas from News Nation that all of his clothing had been thrown out, pictures taken down. Not sure how accurate that is, but that would be interesting, to say the least. So, also that they, I did see somebody in my chat yesterday had mentioned about the hacksaw. And so they are also, I actually saw that on Hidden True Crime this morning. She had a short video that I watched, and she had actually mentioned that they had gone to a store looking to buy one. I don't know if they ever did buy it. So lots of things happening in that case. I just hope that they are able to find that baby, because that's just really, really sad. Really, really sad. So I'm thinking maybe tomorrow we'll do some of those updates, and then maybe some updates on other stories that we've been covering. Didn't they say he maybe hadn't been? Yes. Oh, that's the other thing. I did also hear on, well, it was Elizabeth Vargas and Hidden True Crime, because she was actually on excuse me, Elizabeth Vargas's panel, that the last time family members recall seeing Emmanuel was a month ago. So that would lead me to believe that he's been gone that long, and it just took them a month to get their story straight. It's just really sad. So I did see, and hopefully my power, like, it's so weird. It was like my air conditioner made like this weird sound, and I was like, oh God, don't tell me it's going to die. And then the power went out, came back on, went back out. And then it was like on and off a few times, and then finally it went out. They said 5:45. Well, it came on about an hour ago. So hopefully it will remain on, because I have no idea why it even went out. So Nanny is here. Caudle, thanks for being here. Citizen, Evil Queen, Pookie, thanks for being here. And anyone in the bushes, thanks for being here. I just thought that, oh, dang it. And Pookie, you just, for seeing your name, just reminded me about that other story I wanted to talk about. I'll have to find it, because I was going to show the body cam footage that Law and Crime was able to get on the day of the murders. And I still don't think that story is going to go well with this live stream. So I'll have to see. The one about the about the guy who threw that item and hit the little girl, the 12-year-old girl. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. It's a little lighthearted, but I just feel like I have the body cam footage for last, so I just figured like maybe it would be in bad taste to do that story at the end, but we'll just see how it goes. Hey Narcos, how are you? Good to see you. All right, so I gotta share this. I forgot to get my screen all figured out. So the first thing we're gonna look at is the Idaho Statesman did a really good summary of what Bryan Kohberger has been up to in prison since his sentencing. And it just seems like he's just complaining. Hey, Bucci, thanks for being here. Listening will work. We'll have a good day at work. Okay. So Bryan Kohberger alleges he faces, quote, minute-by-minute threats in Idaho prison. And we want to be mindful that Bryan Kohberger is being held in isolation. So he is not with the general population. Oh, thanks, Josh. Let me get back over here. Josh has been a member for 13 months. That is amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I was actually thinking the other day, I'm like, man, because it was Glow. Glow had been a member for 25 months. And I was like, holy crap. Like, that is crazy to me that I've had my channel almost 3 years. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Aw, thanks, Nanny. Member for 7 months. Evil Queen, member for 15 months. Yep, get those messages. And I don't see any messages on StreamYard. Hey, Ocean Tide, thanks for being here. Okay, so let me get back over on the screen. Okay, so he's facing minute-by-minute threats, and this was from August 21st, so just a couple of days ago they updated it. Incarcerated at Idaho's maximum security prison for less than a month, Bryan Kohberger has lodged 5 formal complaints to correction staff, including over other prisoners threatening him with SA. And I do have some information in regards to prisoner records that may be changing in the near future because of this. Josh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. Apple Ramos, Kim McD, Joan the Homesteader, B Crumbs, and Christy T. Welcome to the Stoners. And if you happen to be in here and see Josh B or Bucci, be sure to thank him. I appreciate that. That's really kind of you. Yes, and he was putting names. So we're going to get into the whole snitch. You know, he clearly didn't do his research. But I also don't think he thought he was going to be caught. I believe he thought he was going to get away with murder, and he made a huge mistake. Yeah, he... Oy. Okay. Make that a little bit bigger. The 30-year-old man who confessed to killing 4 University of Idaho students in November 2022 moved last month to the state prison complex south of Boise just hours after he was sentenced to consecutive life terms without the chance of parole. Before Kohberger agreed to plead guilty to 4 counts of first-degree murder, he awaited trial in police custody for more than 2.5 years, split between the jails in Latah County and Ada County. And I don't know anything about jail or prison. I've never been there. But just from watching TV, jail is like much more simple, I guess. But then again, I mean, we have some pretty big correctional facilities. Like county jails are pretty significant around here. But prison, like that's a whole, especially max security, you're going to be with the worst of the worst. So he should have known it wasn't going to be all unicorns and rainbows like you're in prison. The fact that he's being held in solitary is a pretty nice gesture, in my opinion. Alrighty. Since arriving on July 23rd, okay, so it's been exactly a month today. Since arriving on July 23rd to the Idaho Department of Correction facility, Kohberger's stay has been turbulent. Already, he asked for transfer to another wing of the prison after a pair of fellow prisoners warned him of forthcoming sexual violence, according to state prison public records obtained by the Idaho Statesman. An IDOC officer was present for one of the comments, which threatened Kohberger with R. The comment toward the admitted mass killer was confirmed, but no further action was taken because the corrections officer could not positively identify who said it, he wrote in a report. The prison system has tried to allay any concerns about perhaps its most high-profile prisoner, and pointed out that he remains in a cell for a single occupant and is closely watched by officers when moved for showers and other activities. Incarcerated individuals commonly communicate with each other in prison, said Idaho prison spokesperson Sanda Cuzetta Karamagic in a statement. Bryan Kohberger is housed alone in a cell, and IDOC security staff maintain a safe and orderly environment for all individuals in our custody. During Kohberger's sentencing hearing last month, family members of some of the victims told him to expect to serve a life of hard time, including physical and possibly even sexual violence visited upon him in prison. Attorney Ingrid Beatty, formerly with the Idaho Attorney General's office, helped prosecute Kohberger. Now a senior chief deputy at the Canyon County Prosecutor's Office, she said in an interview with The Statesman that incarcerated people should never face the threat of physical harm. Obviously, as a prosecutor, as an officer of the court, I don't condone any violence against anyone. That being said, who among us would even know how we would respond if we were faced with somebody who murdered our child? So these family statements are really just a reflection of the pain and hurt that they are in, and I think it's completely understandable that they feel that incredible level of anger. The four victims were Madison Mogan and Kaylee Goncalves, both 21, Xana Kernodle and Ethan Chapin, both 20. The three women hailed from North Idaho, and Chapin was from Western Washington. Prison's official. Give it some time. Yeah, Nanny, I think so too. I think it was a psychological game too. And I think he wanted to experience what he was studying, just like that survey that he had for, previous criminals. Like he wanted to be his own test subject. And the problem was he made a mistake. Hey, Joe, thanks for being here. In Kohberger's first 6 nights of prison, he was held in a medical transition unit in the Idaho Maximum Security Institution's C block as he transferred in, the prison record showed. 4 days later, and still lacking an account to the internal system called JPay that grants prisoners access to the commissary, he filed his first complaint. 4 days later. And he was still in the medical transition unit at that point, because it says his first 6 nights he was in the medical transition unit. So 4 days in, he filed his first complaint. I think that might be about the food. Let me zoom out. Okay, so here's inside. Fences extend from floor to ceiling to prevent people from jumping and injuring themselves in C block at the Idaho Maximum Security Institution south of Boise. So this must be where he is housed, right? C block? Because he wanted to go to J block, I think. Or A block. I can't remember. That's actually good that they do that. Because, in the movies, they don't have this whole, floor to ceiling fence. They just have the railing. On July 29th, corrections officials moved Kohberger into a cell for a single occupant in administrative segregation on the second tier of this 2-story J block known as J2. His first 2 nights there were not without incident. Oh my gosh, Evil Queen, I watched Jumpsuit Pablo. I think I sent the link to Pookie. Oh my god, it was the funniest thing I've watched. And he did. He was like, it's prison. Relax. Get used to it. Kohberger did not receive his lunch the day after his move to his planned long-term home. He wrote in a formal grievance. Oh my gosh, that's so fun. I actually like this sentence a lot. Kohberger did not receive his lunch the day after his move to his planned long-term home. That's actually being quite generous. He also complained that day about fellow prisoners subjecting him to, quote, minute-by-minute verbal threats or harassment, which also entailed his new neighbors flooding his cell, Kohberger wrote in a resident concern form. And I guess they have been having issues at this prison with flooding, like inmates flooding the prison. So it's maybe that was his initiation. He suggested perhaps another cell block within Max was a better fit. Unit 2 of J Block is an environment that I wish to transfer from, the former PhD student at Washington State University scrawled by hand to a deputy warden. I wish to speak with you soon. Flooding of cells is, quote, relatively rare in his current confines, a high-ranking corrections officer assured Kohberger in writing, and prison staff considered J Block a fairly calm and quieter tier. Another area of the prison would not be any better for him, Captain Bryan Kohberger added. Give it some time. Food items also were missing on several occasions from his meal tray and not addressed when Kohberger asked, he asserted in another grievance. I wish to, this is like he's so formal in his writing. I wish to, without exception, receive these replacements, wrote the man referred to in the prison system as resident number 163214. The nutritional standard is not being upheld unless I receive my full tray. On August 12th, the prison held a housing placement hearing for Kohberger after he requested protective custody following repeat incidents on J Block. He acknowledged that the prison harassment would die down once news coverage of his murder case slowed down, the record showed. No, it won't. You killed 4 innocent college kids. They're not going to let you live that down, bud. The 3-member Corrections Housing Committee decided that administrative segregation remains the best course for Kohberger for the protection of staff and residents as well as for his protection. Look at, I think this is the photo I used for my thumbnail. He just looks so aggravated, right? Did he want room service? Yeah, more games. He's just playing games. Kohberger, for now, asked that he continue to have recreation by himself and also be escorted alone. But he also told the committee that he wants to eventually be allowed to work and be productive in prison and have shared recreation just like another high-profile resident on J2 does. Like he's trying to run the prison. Like, no. You have no, I mean, he has input, but like you don't tell other people what to do. You do what they tell you to do. You lost that option when you chose to kill 4 people. Like he is just ridiculous. Okay, so we're going to go to this clip from News Nation. It's a little bit longer, but Ashley Banfield and Brian Etten actually do a really good job of going through all of his complaints. And once we get into the clip a little bit, I do have a Fox News article that I want to read that kind of talks about what an expert believes Bryan Kohberger is up to. Okay, look at him. He's so freaky. You know, he looks like just his facial, kind of, his eyes are like buggy. is that Andrew McGann, who killed the mom and dad at Devil's Den State Park. Yeah. Yeah, Ocean Tide. Lori Vallow Daybell. I actually, was it? I think it was Brian Enton. I just watched a clip. They had Lori Daybell was the first half, and then the second half was about Rebecca and Jake Haro. I don't remember what I watched. But she's like always got that evil, like, it's not even a grin or smile. It's like I don't know. She always looks like she's gonna do something evil.
We all have that person in our lives who never stops complaining. It's too hot, it's too cold, it's too salty, I'm bored. And as it turns out, in Idaho's maximum security institution, that person who complains all the
Women's
time
Warrior.
is inmate number 163214. That's him, better known as Bryan Kohberger. The other night, I shared prison reports about Kohberger and how he was having a tough time in lockup. Fellow inmates were keeping him awake night and day, he said.
Oh, and I just noticed the banner they have up. Surprise! Prison isn't pleasant. And that reminds me that I didn't put my banner up. Surprise! Bryan Kohberger.
Him and threatening him, making all sorts of noise. Well, tonight we've got the paperwork to prove it and a few other things he says.
Oh, and Ashley Banfield had a handwriting expert on. So I do have that clip too that we're going to watch where they analyze Bryan Kohberger's handwriting. And I haven't watched it yet, but I just thought it would be interesting to see what, a handwriting expert would say about it.
Those fellow inmates are doing to him things that have him afraid for his life and possibly his virginity. No joke. These are the actual handwritten complaint forms that Bryan Kohberger has written and submitted to the prison officials at the maximum security institution in Idaho. And get a load of his handwriting. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. We have his full list of complaints, even specific inmates that he's complaining about and naming names.
And it looks like he named guards. Are these? Oh yeah, staff, associate number. So he was also calling out staff.
Side note, those guys are not going to get any nicer now. And as a bonus, everything is written in his own handwriting. And I'm going to tell you why that's key.
She did say virginity. She's definitely snarky in this clip. Yeah, she did.
We've got the top world analyst in handwriting in just a moment. He knows so much about handwriting and what it tells us, and he's got fascinating insights into what he sees on these pages. But first, what do you suppose is eating Bryan Kohberger? Where do we even start? Well, from the complaint form, Wednesday, July 30th, just 6 days after he arrived at the penitentiary, he already had problems. Quote, as I continue the SPI phase, that means segregation pending investigation phase, I wish to discuss if I may be transferred to another AD seg setting. That means segregated setting, such as B block. Not engaging in any of the
I wonder why he said B block. That's pretty specific, and I was completely off. I thought he said A block. Why would he say B block? Like, what does he think B block is going to be? How does he think that's going to be different? Unless that's just another block where they have single cells. Right, Women's Warrior. Makes you laugh that he has the audacity to complain about how he is feeling when he did something so horrific to innocent people, not sparing any thoughts to their feelings or fear blows my mind. Right, he is entitled. He is a narcissist. He thinks that when he says jump, someone should say how high. No. Citizen says, I hope he never criticizes a student on their handwriting. Jeez.
Recent flooding and striking, as well as being subject to minute-by-minute verbal threats, harassment. On that and other bases, Unit 2 of J Block is an environment that I wish to transfer from. If possible, I request transfer to B Block immediately. I wish to speak with you soon.
Immediately. Like, I demand this. Okay, because the minute-by-minute verbal... But he was... I wonder how many... Like, I wonder with the SPI, like the medical... What did they say? It was the medical transfer unit? Like, I wonder if those are single cells or if it's just, like, holding cells. Like, what did he expect? He's new. So there's, like, you know, as they say, like, fresh meat. They probably know what a psycho he is, so they're probably doing it just to get a rise out of him, which is working. I request transfer to B Block immediately. Come on.
That's very special. Kohberger wants a little more comfort at the lockup where he's condemned to spend the rest of his miserable life. He even has his own recommendations about where he believes he should be moved. Isn't that nice? There was a prison captain who did reply to the quadruple murderer in writing just 2 days later, very, very politely and very professionally, I might add, saying, quote, Mr. Kohberger, on any tier at the IMSI, that is the Idaho Maximum Security Institution, there are sometimes disruptions to operations, such as residents flooding. On J2, that's where Kohberger is, it is a relatively rare occurrence. And J2 is generally a fairly calm and quieter tier. I do not think that B Block would be any better for you. Give it some time. In short, F off, Kohberger. Deal with
Ashley, I like her in this. She is so snarky and she is just amused. I gotta hear that again. Hey, Curious.
would be any better for you. Give it some time. In short, F off, Kohberger. Deal with it and get used to it. You're not moving anywhere. By the way, all those things Kohberger has been complaining about, apparently he's very worried about what some of the inmates have said they're going to do to him, physically and sexually. Want to get to News Nation's Bryan Enton here because Bryan Enton got his hands on the actual handwritten complaints. Before I ask you to go into the specifics, just comment on the writing because I thought I was looking at a fourth grader and I had to try to decipher what I was seeing on these handwritten forms.
Yeah, I was surprised how bad. Well, I don't know, maybe surprised, not the right word. I wasn't expecting his handwriting to be so bad. He has really bad handwriting. And it was also just creepy reading these because he wrote them. I guess when I knew these were coming, I was expecting they were going to be typed out. I don't know why. And then when I got them and saw that it was his handwriting and he actually signed the bottom, I don't know why, it just kind of like bothered me in a way. But remember, actually, I toured this prison, by the way, last month. I walked through the whole thing, spent 2 hours in the prison. Yes, the inmates yell and scream and bang on the walls, and the flooding of the cells, it happens. They told me about that. They get bored and they flood their cells. They flood the sinks and the toilets. Sometimes they have to shut the water off. So it's no surprise. This is what life is going to be like at the maximum security prison.
So what I gather from that then is that other inmates, because they were bored, decided to flood their own cells, and the water from their cells ended up going into Kohberger's cell. And I should have gotten that clip of Bryan in the that he went to the prison just to kind of see what it looked like. Let me see if I can find that quick. Just to watch a little bit of it, because that's one that I think is probably on my watch later. And Idaho. Oh, right here. Okay, so let's see. Fishing, phone booths, outside area, commissary, hunger strike. Okay, so... Okay, let's just go. We'll just watch a little bit of this. We'll watch when he actually goes into the prison.
As I kind of go through these. So got through security. The warden met us and we started the tour, walking through the whole facility. The warden has been there for 28 years.
Wow, 28 years.
And it's basically there's the 535 people. That's the capacity. It's the most severe facility in Idaho. It's where the most dangerous.
I know. I wanted to, because I'm laughing too, and not to take away at the gravity of the situation that four innocent kids are dead. I just wanted, when I started seeing these complaints come in, I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. This guy, this monster, thinks that he has the same rights that he did when he was a free man. No, sir, you don't. So I think he's getting his karma. You didn't have any empathy for your victims. You didn't, think twice about what you were going to do. So, I mean, you can't handle someone saying, things to you. Come on, dude. Hey, Lulu, thanks for being here. No, Curious, he's not making new friends, and it seems like he's going to be making some pretty big enemies, because he's actually not only giving staff names in his complaints, but also naming other prisoners in his complaints. So if they watch TV, say they watch News Nation, they're going to hear their names in the reports being read.
As prisoners go, closed custody,
I guess not, citizen.
Long-term restrictive housing, they call it. Part of it, we went into this one unit where basically the prisoners are in these cells for 23 hours a day. They only get let out 1 hour a day. And this is where Kohberger could end up. And the reason is because not only are people here because they are dangerous and violent and can't be around other prisoners, which I don't really think Kohberger is like that in terms of a prison situation. At least my sources where he's been at other jails have not said that he was like that. But another reason that he would end up there is because he has a target on his back. We believe, we've been told, he's a high profile prisoner. All the other prisoners know who he is. He murdered 4 innocent kids, and he could be targeted. So that's the reason that he would end up in a place like this, probably that's totally segregated. So basically these cells you see here, they stay 23 hours inside the cell. They get let out 1 hour a day.
So I'm assuming they're let out 1 hour a day independently. So he's not being let out with other people. I'm guessing he's let out by himself, and then probably as he's walking the room or doing whatever he does, other prisoners are catcalling him and, making him feel welcome in his new home, as the Idaho Statesman said. Yeah, he shouldn't make enemies of the guards. Women's Warrior says it's probably so that they open the cell so they can try to have a go at him. Usually the guards turn a blind eye for a minute or two. Inmate justice is a big thing, that they don't consider that. I think in this case, they're doing what they need to do to keep him safe. He's just complaining about things that aren't serious. I mean, it's not like another prisoner has put their hands on him. You know, they flooded his cell because they decided to flood their own cell because they were bored. So I'm guessing that the water just kind of like came out of the other cell and then went into his cell. I mean, that is pretty gross, but it is what it is. For what he did after cell block, get done with him, be like throwing a hot dog down a hallway. not a Kohberger, you know, burger. Me too, citizen. I think he thought he was going to get away with it too. I don't think he planned to leave that sheath behind. And I'm wondering when he realized he forgot it, because I would think, you know, his adrenaline was so high that he may not have realized that he forgot the sheath. And then when he did realize it, that would have been an interesting thing to see. Yeah, gravity. Oh, wrong one.
You see these chairs. This was kind of interesting. If they want to come out and sit in that chair,
Hey,
they're actually
Marlena.
shackled to the chair. And then there were these like cages that almost look like phone booths. Basically, they will sometimes come out and put them in that like cage looking place where they can use a tablet to like do a visitation. The whole thing is very sterile. While we were there, you can see there's also these bean bags that they put at the bottom of the door. And that's because, that's my notes here. Sorry, I'm going to go through these notes to make sure I don't forget anything. But that's because the prisoners do something called fishing. And we actually caught it on camera. It's where they use a string from a blanket or a t-shirt and they put it under the door. And they try to fish for something, or they try to send notes to another prisoner, and they also just kind of do it out of boredom, and we saw it happening while we were there. But that's why I specifically asked, like, why do they have these bean bags? And it's to prevent fishing, which that's the name of it.
And I don't think Kohberger has filed a complaint for someone trying to fish with him. So
the phone booth cage was kind of alarming. It surprised me though that they all have a tablet. For $100 they can buy a tablet. So even though they're in the cell for 23 hours a day, they have their tablet where they can email, they can listen to music, they can play games on their tablet, and they have that all the time. And then also they can have a TV. So Bryan Kohberger could have a TV. They have to buy it themselves, but they're allowed to have a TV, and they have basic cable, so they can watch TV whenever they want, which I don't.
They get basic cable. They can, you know, buy a tablet for $100. That's pretty good deal. I mean,
I don't know why that kind of surprised me. Some people I was telling that to said, "Oh no, I figured they had TV, but I didn't realize they had it all the time in their cell." In some of these areas,
I thought it was if you want to watch TV, you go like in the rec room.
Own TV. Visitation. So the visitation mostly in that area would happen on the tablets. There was an area with visitation for some prisoners who aren't in solitary, basically, where they could go and talk to a loved one on like an old style payphone with glass. But I don't think that Bryan Kohberger is going to have that opportunity, at least not to begin with. Again, I don't know for sure, but all indications are he's going to end up in this segregated area, probably for fear that someone may actually hurt him. But again, he has to go through this whole evaluation process, and then they'll decide.
Okay, so that was, I just wanted to kind of see, you know, so they're protecting him. I don't think maybe he does realize it. Maybe he just wants to complain. But like he has to understand, like, he's there, he's being protected. No one is hurting him. No one is trying to hurt him. They're verbal threats right now. I guess he's never watched a prison movie. I agree. I mean, you get a tablet, you can have a TV in your cell. You get basic cable, so you can watch the news, things like that. Yeah, they can have a tablet with the internet. Hey, lunatic, how are you? They have plantations in UK prisons. What does that mean? Like where they work? Is that what you mean? Like work camps? Citizen says, I think he probably realized when he got back at the apartment that he didn't have the sheath. I wonder when he went back earlier that morning and didn't see any police around, if he considered going back in. I did see a a clip that, and I think it was in the documents too. I haven't gotten through all the documents, and Idaho State Police just released a bunch of photos and interviews as well. They said he was on the phone with his mom when he drove back to Moscow. It's weird. Like he called his mom after doing this. Well, he took a selfie first, probably, which that was creepy too. Yeah, I don't have cable either. Okay, Women's Warrior says they all have TVs, radios, phones, game stations in their cells in UK, so they can play PlayStation or Xbox. It's absolutely that is ridiculous. Like, you're in prison. You should have nothing. You should have to sit with your thoughts all day. Sit with your thoughts. Think about what you did.
Let me read you another one of these grievances, though. This is another form that Bryan Kohberger filled out that has to do with the food, Ashley. Kohberger writes, I have on several occasions not received all items of food on my tray. I addressed this during service and have yet to receive any replacements. In fact, the kitchen is not even called. He thinks they're going to call the kitchen for him. The policy book confirms.
Oh my gosh. Just the comments. Right. So let me get rid of this closed captioning. So I'm going to just read what Bryan had just read. I have on several occasions. So on several occasions, and this was on July 31st. He had been there for a week. I have on several occasions not received all items, of food on my tray. I addressed this during service and have yet to receive any replacements. In fact, the kitchen is not even okay, so he's saying like no one calls the kitchen for him. Like, this isn't a I was just going to say that, Marie, this isn't a hotel. I looked down and I saw your comment. And how you doing? Thanks for being here. Yeah. Does he think he's at a hotel? Like, what, you think it's room service?
Items missing, which are pointed out at the time of service, will be replaced. I wish to, without exception, receive these replacements. And under the heading, I've tried to solve this problem informally by, then he fills that part out. Kohberger wrote, addressing the issue with staff at the time of service. Then there's a part that says, I suggest the following solution for the problem. And he wrote, I wish for the items to be called for and items replaced when this occurs. The nutritional standard is not being upheld unless I've received my full tray.
He's so formal too, and like his. Okay, so let's go back up here. So the kitchen isn't called. Like, there's more important things that these guards and staff probably have to do. The policy book. Oh, so see, he's read the policy book apparently. The policy book confirms items missing, which are pointed out at the time of service will be replaced. Oh, so he's saying the policy book confirms items missing, which are pointed out at the time of service, will be replaced. So the policy book is saying, hey, if you tell them that something's missing, they should be replacing it right then. It should be replaced. I wish to, without exception, receive these replacements. I have tried to solve this problem informally by addressing the issue with staff at the time of meal service. I suggest the following solution for the problem. I wish for the items to be called for and items replaced when this occurs. The nutritional standard is not being upheld unless I receive my full tray. Like, same thing. Like, this isn't a hotel. You get what you get.
So he doesn't feel like he is getting the food that he requires. And by the way, they eat their meals. He's in solitary confinement, by the way. Obviously, they eat their meals in the cell. They go through the door, and he says he's not getting the food that he deserves. Apparently, Ashley.
I had a chance to have a chit chat with Steve Gonsalves earlier today about this, Bryan Enton, and as you can imagine, he and the family are enjoying the fact that Bryan Kohberger is uncomfortable. Their daughter Kaylee will never be able to eat anything or hear anybody yell ever again. So this is no love lost there, as you can imagine. All right, now address these personal threats, these very, very specific personal threats. And I'm just going to give a warning, not safe for work, some of the stuff we're about to talk about.
Right. And some of the stuff is, I mean, it is graphic, but I wouldn't expect anything less from, you know, people in prison.
Yeah, this is the sexual harassment complaints that he has. Let me read you this one. On August 3rd, 2025, and I want to read you the whole thing so you can really understand it. On August 3rd, 2025, resident Kohberger submitted a concern from staffing. He has been subject to threats and harassment, recently escalating to overt sexually violent threat statements. Lieutenant Milland received the concern form on August 4th, 2025, and conducted an interview with Kohberger in J Block. Kohberger stated a resident that goes by Peru told him, and I'm not going to say what it says here, BF you, basically sodomize you. Kohberger also stated an unknown resident from Tier 1 of J Block said the only A**, which you can make out what that means, will be eating is Kohberger's.
Boy.
Kohberger stated that Officer Signoria was present for the comment made by Peru. Due to Officer Signoria being on B nights, an interview could not be conducted to attempt to corroborate the allegation on October.
So August 3rd, so he went, so that was about 10 days. Because he went to prison the 23rd. This was the 3rd. 11 days. So he had been there 11 days. And now he is giving prisoner nicknames. So whoever Peru is, he names him. Right. Peru is going to harass him even more now. And it says, I'll butt F you. And then he said an unknown resident from Tier 1. So I wonder how he knows Peru. Maybe he's just heard like in passing. Or maybe Peru did say, hey, I'm Peru. The only ASS will be eating is Kohberger's. And then he says that the officer was there. Like, what do they expect? What does he expect officers to do? Like, they're not hurting him. I mean, yeah, it's verbal it's verbal harassment, but get over it. Just Jake, that's what Ashley Banfield said at the beginning of this this clip.
On August 7th, 2025, Officer Signoria submitted an information report outlining his involvement of the alleged incident. Officer Signoria recalls vulgar language being used and directed toward Kohberger, but could not identify who said what. The allegation is substantiated, but due to no aggressor being able to be positively identified and Kohberger saying he feels safe to remain on Tier 2 in J Block, no further actions were taken, which, I mean, it's
Okay, so I was looking at chat. So on August 7th, so that was 4 days later, Officer Signoria submitted an information report outlining his involvement of the alleged incident. Officer Signoria recalls vulgar language being used and directed towards Kohberger, but could not identify who said what. The allegation is substantiated, but due to no aggressor being able to be positively identified, and Kohberger saying he feels safe to remain on Tier 2 and J Block, no further actions were taken. So this was August 3rd. Let me go back here real quick. Okay, so he had requested transfer from. Okay, so he wanted to be moved from, because it said, right, so his intake phase. So he wanted to go to a different setting as B Block. Okay, so he was being harassed when he first got there in the SPI phase. Okay, so that makes sense. So then, let's see, we're at 8, around here. And so he says he feels safe as of August 7th.
Kohberger, but could not identify who said what. The allegation is substantiated, but due to no aggressor being able to be positively identified and Kohberger saying he feels safe to remain on Tier 2 in J Block, no further actions were taken, which, I mean, it's kind of like the officer knows what happened, but, I mean, come on, this is prison. This isn't jail anymore. You're in the maximum security prison in Idaho with the worst of the worst in the state.
That's what
you
I
killed
said.
4 innocent kids. And by the way, he's in this cell by himself. So these are just things that he's hearing, whether it be through the vents or when he gets walked outside for 1 hour a day. But he has no contact with other prisoners. So it's pretty clear there's no physical threat here.
Yeah, well, I think anybody who knows even the least thing about prison is that you keep your head down and you don't start naming names like Peru, this other prisoner who he has named specifically. And, you know, guards, naming guards, that's not going to endear you to anybody either. So there you go. Only a couple weeks in prison and it's not going too well. Bryan Enton, great work getting those documents. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, so with that, I did find an article from the New York Post, and this was August 21st, so 2 days ago. And it states that release of Bryan Kohberger R threat prompts Idaho prison officials to limit these damn ads. Come on. Like, how do I get rid of that? Like, do you not want people to read your freaking articles? Come on. Officials to limit access to inmate records. Idaho prison officials have vowed to limit access to inmate records after releasing a graphic sexual harassment complaint filed by Bryan Kohberger, in which the convicted killer begged for a transfer after a fellow inmate threatened to BF him. The Idaho Department of Correction recently made available public records associated with complaints filed by Bryan Kohberger in response to public records requests submitted by members of the news media and the public. IDOC seeks to clarify that additional scrutiny will be applied to future requests for public records concerning any individual in IDOC custody. The media and the public can expect that similar public records requests submitted in the future may be denied altogether or may produce records that will be redacted consistent with the Idaho Public Records Act in order to protect the safety and security of the prison population, staff, and our operations. The policy clarification from the IDOC comes as Kohberger, the convicted killer of 4 University of Idaho undergrads, barely made it one night in the Idaho Maximum Security Institution in Boise before requesting to be moved to another part of the hellhole prison on, on July 30th over constant harassment, according to documents. Right, because this was the 30th. So I guess we'll see, because I can see where they're saying, like, for the safety of everyone involved, because say that there had been some type of disciplinary action against Peru, and he saw on the news that it was this officer who confirmed it. Well, now the officer is in trouble or in danger. The fact that now Peru knows that Bryan Kohberger is complaining about him, that's going to cause issues. So I can see why they're going to do it, but as this next article I have for us says, if he wasn't such a Karen, things would probably go a lot smoother for him. Yeah, Evil Queen. He sounds like he expects 5 stars, right? Right, Women's Warrior. The problem is that he already has a target on his back. The worst thing he can do is complain about anyone, especially the guards, as they stand between him and harm from the inmates. Exactly. Words are bothering him. Yes, they are, Evil Queen. They're bothering him a lot. Okay, so this is from Fox News, and experts react to Kohberger's prison behavior. A snitch who is weak will never survive. Bryan Kohberger has reportedly complained about other inmates, prison food, and his housing situation. And this was from yesterday. Okay. And we are going to take a look at this exclusive interview with the police chief as well today. Bryan Kohberger is becoming a, quote, jailhouse Karen, with numerous complaints filed about his living conditions less than a month after arriving in the Idaho prison where he will spend the rest of his life. Kohberger, a 30-year-old former criminology PhD student who killed 4 University of Idaho grads in a home invasion knife attack, received 4 consecutive life sentences with no parole, plus another 10 years. 3 of the victims were asleep at the start of the attack, which he committed at 4 a.m. on Sunday, November 13th, 2022. Excuse me. Let's put this delicately. According to the reporting, Kohberger seems to be turning out to be something of a jailhouse Karen, said Paul Morrow, a retired NYPD inspector and Fox News contributor who has been closely following the case. It doesn't bode well for his longtime prognosis for getting along in that environment. Like, look at him. He's just so... And it doesn't look like he was eating that much in jail. Like, he had to have lost at least 20 pounds since he was arrested, if not more. He's like... But now he wants to make sure he has all his food. Hey, Gina, how's it going? Right, Bucci. He wants to be entitled and he's going to get his prison. Well, I guess. I mean, you keep calling people out. So far, according to a number of media reports, Kohberger has tattled on fellow inmates who he claims are threatening and harassing him, filed a complaint about prison food nutrition, and asked to be moved to another wing of the Idaho Maximum Security Institute. The frequent complaints make it obvious to other lifers that the treatment is getting under Kohberger's skin, according to Keith Rovere, a former prison minister. He would have been better off just keeping this mouth shut and taking it, the lighter side of true crime host told Fox News Digital. They would have stopped harassing him after a while, but now that they know they're not just getting a reaction from him, now he is requesting a transfer, they're going to ramp it up in ways that he can't even imagine. It reminds me of, was it Shawshank Redemption? I think maybe it wasn't. There was a movie where there were like different prisoners who, I think it was Shawshank, and one of the prisoners, I remember he was an older guy, he had glasses, and he was crying. Like he was crying his first night there, and people were harassing him and treating him badly. And that's what I imagine Kohberger is. He's just, I mean, he doesn't cry because he's a psychopath, but that's what I see him as. Like he just wants to complain. A snitch who is weak will never survive, he added. Most recently, Kohberger, a vegan, complained to prison staff that he wasn't being given proper nutrition at mealtime, according to a handwritten grievance obtained by News Nation. I have on several occasions not received all items of food on my tray, he whined. I addressed this during service and have yet to receive any replacements. In fact, the kitchen is not even called. He wrote that he knows items are missing because of the quote policy book, but no one helped him. The nutritional standard is not being upheld unless I receive my full tray. I wonder why he wasn't specific about what he was missing. I wonder if let me see it. I don't think you can, but let's see. Idaho maximum security. I'm going to see if the policy book is online. Policy manual. Resident handbook. 2021. Get out. Okay, let me see. Can I can't download it, but okay, so let's see. Let me look at the table of contents. Why is this? Oh, there we go. Okay, so okay, let's see. Meals. I'll actually show y'all what I'm looking at. So I just did a search and it is here. I can't make it any bigger though, which, I mean, I can make it bigger, but then I can't see. Oh, what's this? Toggle sidebar. Okay, I don't want that. Oh, here, food service. See, but I can't see the page number. Okay, so I'm just gonna, oh, here. Oh, it's in alphabetical order. That makes it much better. Okay, so food service. Oh God, that's really small. Whoa. Oh, there we go. Much better. Okay. Okay, so food service, and this is from 2021, so it might have changed a little bit. The ISCI dining hall is named Pendine. ISCI residents prepare the food, and the same menu is used for all facilities. A dietitian develops the menu. Meals are served 3 times per day, except on weekends and holidays when meal service provides 2 meals and a snack within the same nutritional value as 3 meals. The average daily caloric content of the mainline menu is 2,900 calories. Following are some general rules you will observe in Pendine. You may take commissary purchase condiments to the dining hall. Okay, so this has a lot to do with the dining hall. Right, so that's rules for the dining hall. In addition to the mainline menu, the facility offers modified diet menus. Residents may sign up for one of these diets instead of the mainline menu. Selective diets must be made by the 25th of each month. Wow, so they have actually quite a bit. They have healthy choice reduced in calories, fat, sodium, sugar. I don't know what the first word is, but lacto... Vegetarian with eggs, milk, cheese, and other dairy. Vegan, no animal products. Vegan or something pork, and then common fare. I thought maybe it would have, what should have been on the tray. Let me see. Let me see if it has... Oh, there's a thing that says special needs, page 26. Let's see what that says. Oh, that has to do with the ADA. Okay, so that's not what we want. Huh. Maybe those in solitary, or like with not solitary, but like protective. Oh, there's laundry. That's interesting, though. So maybe they get something different, or maybe this is just outdated and they have an update where you can it has exactly what you're supposed to get on your tray. Yeah, that's the newest one I see. All right. Yes, he is Evil Queen. They said that I think they said it, would they say it in this article, or there was something I read or we heard had said about his vegan menu. Okay, so Kohberger made his first complaint on his second day in J Block, according to People. That's the prison wing where he's been placed. It is for high-profile, high-risk prisoners, including death row inmates like Chad Daybell, as well as lifers like Kohberger. Less than a week later, he reportedly complained again that another prisoner told him, "I'll BF you," and told guards someone else warned him the only A we'll be eating is Kohberger's. God, that picture of him, he is so freaky. Cameron Lindsay, a prison consultant, called Kohberger a monster and a fool in one for his antics. No way in hell the Idaho Department of Correction capitulates and satisfies his request to be moved. My prediction is he'll stay right where he is. His constitutional rights, particularly the Eighth Amendment, fails relevancy here because Kohberger is segregated from all other inmates, thus being reasonably protected from physical harm. If he had a lick of sense, he'd keep his mouth shut, his head down, and maybe over time his welcoming committee would lessen their verbal tirades against him. State prison officials did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Okay, I remember he was getting a peanut butter sandwich. Vegan is even more complicated. Right. And I mean, I think that they're giving him, they're giving him options. Does the other inmates make the food, or is it just prepackaged delivered because I wouldn't eat anything if I were him? I would assume that the trays are coming from the kitchen, like the inmates make the meal and then just, and I don't know. He needs to just deal with it. Okay, so I have, let's see, what's the next video I have? I kind of did the articles out of, the handwriting analysis. So this should be interesting. Ashley Banfield spoke with a handwriting expert who is going to decipher his writing for us to see what that image of him. I use this on my thumbnail because that's what he makes me roll my eyes at this. He just looks so annoyed during his sentencing. He just looks so annoyed, like he had better things to do. Well, all right, let's see.
I want to welcome back to the program Bart Baggett. He is one of the world's top experts in forensic handwriting analysis. Bart, good to have you back. The last time you were here, I think we might have only had like a signature or a couple of words for you to analyze of Bryan Kohberger's writing. And now there is a veritable cornucopia of sampling to look at. Give me your initial impressions on the handwriting that you're seeing on these complaints.
Sure. It's so great because last time it was like having just one piece of a map and you're like, hey, tell me more, because you're like, Bart, tell me if he's evil and he's treacherous. And I was like, I can't, Ashley, but now we can. So we have like this weird, shy, anxious guy with low self-esteem and frustration. And he's got a trait called recalcitrant, which means he's stubborn and defiant like a child. And he also has something really interesting that I have hardly ever seen in real life, which is basically most books call it a felon's claw or a injustice, a revenge seeking. And that's in this really odd.
Did he say Fallon's claw? Oh, yeah. Oh, felon's claw. Incel anger. Felon's claw. I've never heard of felon's claw before. I'm just going to look that up. He'll probably explain it, but I'm just going to Google it first. So it says a felon's claw is a pointed, jagged stroke that juts to the left below the baseline in handwriting, often seen in lowercase letters like G or Y. So it's kind of like a half circle. Like you write the letter, but instead of looping it, you kind of like make a half circle to the left. So let me see. Where are his G's? That G doesn't have it. So maybe you can see, maybe it's different ways to see it, because I don't see anything that Google gave as an example in here. Oh, but see how his G doesn't loop? It kind of goes, this way. See how it swings? He doesn't loop it. He just swings it out.
D. And I want to caution the viewers at home, don't look at your writing and just assume that what I'm saying applies to you, because it's not that way. You're not a felon if you have this, but it does mean he's pissed off, he's angry, and he feels like everything is unjust. He reminds me of what they call.
Okay, so, oh, I see. So it looks like a claw. It actually it's disjointed. Like he doesn't make the letter connect. Interesting. I can say for certain that mine do not look like that.
An incel. Like if you think of the stereotypical incel,
Even when I'm
just some
resting.
guy in his basement mad at the world, mad at women, that's his personality. He just never grew up.
So this we're showing on the screen is the D that you're talking about. You said it's called is it a D claw and a felon's claw? Give that to me a little more clearly. Like, what does that exactly mean when you've got that very unusual D?
So just to be clear, I've never put this in my books because I didn't like using the word felon's claw relating to anything because people would read it and think, oh, my bad.
Okay, so his D's. But so let me just share this. So this is what Google had shown. So I didn't see the D initially. I saw the G and the Y. So see how it kind of like hooks? And then the F, you would write F, and then you'd like do that hook type thing. Whereas the D, it's a hook initially because it doesn't connect. So this is like things to look for. Interesting. But in this case, it's Bryan Kohberger's D's.
A bad person, but it does mean that people have anger and unresolved resentment going into the past and they need to get it out. So I think it's unfair to call someone a felon. In this case, obviously we can, but the average person is like, yeah, I'm mad at my brother, mad at my sister, and it's unresolved hate and they tend to be revengeful. So here it is in the D. It appears in other letters in the Y's and G's and other handwriting, but I've always found that to be a little dangerous when I see it in people's handwriting.
Tell me a little bit about Kohberger's signatures. We looked at one before when we had the guilty plea back.
His signature, I mean, my signature isn't great either because I'm lazy. So I just, I write the EM and then just scribble the rest of my name. But he does have pretty messy writing.
In July, but now you've got his signature on the prison complaint. Do you see anything in the comparison?
The B looks like an L. And the U just goes right into the G. That's interesting. Oh, look, that B has like that little hook thing on it.
Here, is there anything that you can read into it?
Well, he's just devolving. I mean, just here by the context of what we just heard with our other interview, it's like he's anxious and it's easy to surprise and he's, I deserve better. Like he's basically a big whiny baby and he should have thought that before he killed 4 people.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm not sad for him at all. Sorry to be biased, but
no, nor am I.
Oh, I see. Okay, so they're showing. So I was only looking at his signature on the left. This was July 1st, 2025, where you can actually read his name. Here, you can see the C and the B, but it's just like scribble, which, I mean, I don't read too much into that because that's what I do.
Not a very bright guy. And I said last time I didn't think he was bright. I just don't think he ever grew up. I don't think he ever matured. If you think about, John F. Kennedy's handwriting, beautiful handwriting. These are mature men. This guy's not a mature man. I don't think he ever got past 4th grade level, mentally, emotionally.
Yeah, well, that's what I felt when I looked at just the character of his actual penmanship. It just looked like it was I
mean, but at the same time, though, doctors have really bad handwriting and their education is like above and beyond. So I think it can be on both sides. But in Bryan Kohberger's case, we know that he is dangerous.
A child. Bart, appreciate it. I could talk to you forever. Thank you so much for this.
See you next time. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was really interesting. I thought it was going to be a little more in depth, but there may have been more that, another segment that she had with this man. Okay, so all right, so I have one last clip. Well, actually, that's it that I have with Kohberger about his complaint. So what I have next is the police chief spoke with someone who I think he's a part of Fox News, but he gave some information that I actually didn't know. I only watched a little bit of this, but there were some things that I didn't know that he divulged. So it should be interesting to hear. And then the last thing I have is the body cam footage that was released to Law and Crime. So that's about, I cut it down. I took the very end off because it was just the officers talking with each other about logistics with traffic, stuff like that. But I think it would be interesting to watch together because I watched it by myself and I had thoughts, but no one to express them to. So.
Moscow, Idaho Police Chief Anthony Dollinger responding to the rumors and speculation surrounding the 2022 murder of 4 University of Idaho students.
He took our next guest inside the investigation and settled some of the questions that we've been asking for nearly 3 years. Take a look.
There's a lot of speculation in this case about the cross-country drive.
Mm-hmm.
Was he identified as a possible before he left town?
No, we did not have his name.
And I've been reading the Idaho College Murders book by James Patterson, and I don't remember the other woman's name. And they actually in there, because initially the FBI, what is the name? Expert on vehicles released the wrong year of the Elantra. Washington State University, they had Bryan Kohberger's name and car. They were about to send it over, but realized that the year was off. And so they never sent it to the Moscow Police Department. They could have had him before in my opinion. I think if the year hadn't been so specific, because the FBI did change it. They did make it a broader range. But if they hadn't been so specific initially, I think they would have gotten him before he left town.
And he was not even on the radar as a likely suspect when his father came here and drove away with him.
That's correct. Obviously, if we'd have had that information, he would not have been able to leave the area.
So the reported that the FBI was trailing him cross country and then lost him and all, that's all wrong.
Completely wrong. We had lots.
Can you, so that I didn't hear. So all of that where there was, he was stopped, a couple of times that he was being followed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All of those claims were not true. Not true.
Of different leads. And we tracked down each and every one of them. It was painstaking. And, until we got to the end of this, I can't remember exactly how many people that we looked at, but we did hundreds of interviews with so many different people. And each one of those, it was almost weekly, if not almost daily. We would have a new lead. Our investigators dug right into it and dispelled that rather quickly.
Any indication that he didn't act alone?
No.
Where's the murder weapon?
Don't know. I mean, we looked at every angle, but we live in North Idaho, or it's a rural area, and a K-bar knife is a relatively small item. So it's endless where that could be.
There was some reporting right around the plea deal that there may have been a second weapon involved. What did the task force think? That there was a second weapon used, or was it just a knife?
All the evidence showed that there was one singular knife that was used to kill all 4 of the victims.
Would you have gotten probable cause to arrest him without the DNA?
I believe so.
Based on what?
Our investigators were very confident that based off of where we were going with the vehicle and the information that we gathered, we would have got there. I don't know what our timeline would have been, but I believe we would have got there.
Now we're into the prosecution phase. You guys have done this.
Look how much weight he's lost since being in prison. Well, jail, because he was there for 2.5 years. So clearly he wasn't eating that much anyways. So I'm not sure why he's complaining so much.
Big task force, 6 weeks or so, and you managed to roll this up. What was the feeling in the task force when you began to hear they're going to give him a plea?
It's one of those things that we all understand the processes that our legal system has, and it was never dashed out of our minds, or at least in my mind, that it was a possibility. I do know that I was in the room when Bill Thompson gave us that information that they had reached out, the defense had reached out asking if they would be willing to entertain that idea. And it was very quick, just to dispel the whole plea thing as well. Because I know every time somebody hears plea deal, right, the whole word deal makes everybody feel like they're getting off. The suspect's getting off somehow. They're not getting their full extent. Now, the only thing that went off the table on this was the death penalty. And I think Bill Thompson said it best. He said he was sentenced to death. He was sentenced to die in prison.
And then we got the Dateline show.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any indication?
And then this was, because this was leaked, this video of him in his cell. And that's a pretty big room. I mean, he's got a lot of room to move around in there. That's probably bigger than my bedroom, to be honest. And that video was like weird too. Actually, let me see if I can find that. Let's see. Just in case some of you guys, it's not very long. Burger in jail cell. Here it is. Nope, that's not it. Oh, here, we'll do this one from Facebook. And he it's weird because he kind of goes up to, it's something over here, and he's just staring into space. Oh, he put something up there, and then he just kind of stands there looking around okay. And I'm assuming that this is in the prison, not the jail. I could be wrong, but it came out just about maybe 2 weeks ago. Okay, Marie says it is an accessible room. I wondered about that. The handicap rails by the toilet. I think they said that was the infirmary cells. That makes sense. I don't know what they call it. The bed is big and orange. Yeah, it was like the medical something unit, before they go to their actual cell.
He was sentenced to die in prison.
And then we got the Dateline show.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any indication as to who leaked it all?
Not at this point, and there's not much I can say because I do know that there's still an active investigation into that matter. There was a special prosecutor, a special investigation judge that were appointed.
What was the feeling in it?
And I'm wondering who leaked all of that too, because whoever it is, I hope it was worth it.
The team that had worked so hard, that all of a sudden this leak occurred and it was all over the TV as you're going right into trial. I mean, was there a morale effect on the team?
I don't know if there was a morale effect. We rallied together because we all believe that it was wrong, and that, number one, we didn't believe any of our people did it. However, if that was the case, we were ready to hold them accountable. And I know I met with the leadership at Idaho State Police and the FBI, and we talked about it, and we all agreed to, we wanted to be as open and transparent with this investigation as possible, and we have been to this point.
Let's bring in Fox News contributor Paul Morrow. Paul, can you get into the details of Was there any defensive wounds or anything like that? Because he says he was confident that he was going to be able to link him to the crime even without the night shift.
Yeah. So one of the things I asked was, were there any fingernail scrapings? Because according to all the reporting, the DNA that they got was a touch DNA, a little bit of touch DNA off the button on the knife sheath. And that's it. And one of the things that surprised me is we've now heard that there were some wounds in the selfie that he's given a thumbs up. His hand looks a little banged up. The students say that there was some indication subsequent to the murders that he had some wounds. So that would argue maybe he got scraped up. The chief put that to bed. He said that there were no fingernail scrapings under the fingernails of any of the victims. And that's normally where you would get great DNA. Said absolutely not. So it doesn't fully account for what.
Right. And I mean, I thought maybe Xana because she was awake, but Kaylee, Maddie, and Ethan, I wouldn't expect to see any fingernail scrapings because they were sleeping. And they probably didn't have time to fight back.
Whatever wounds he had, if the students are accurate, there's a little bit of a timeline issue. Some of the students were saying they weren't sure the wounds were before or after the murders. Maybe it was before. But he says, that is the chief, says that likely he was fully garbed up. We know he had the balaclava. All you could see were the bushy eyebrows. And he says he likely had clothing on, just, chin to feet, that kept them from being able to grab.
They probably couldn't defend themselves because they were asleep.
Oh,
he murdered them while they were all in bed. I find it interesting that we aren't getting answers from him. We don't know why he did this, why he targeted. I wanted him to be able to speak, or I wanted him to speak in court. But when they arrested him and they sat him down and they interviewed him, did he say anything?
Yeah, so when they grabbed him in Pennsylvania, when they got enough probable cause, because they pulled the garbage, they got the DNA from the garbage, it matched from the father to the knife sheath at a level higher than the number of grains of sand on Earth, literally. So there's, okay, there's PC. And they did it immediately. The chief gave me the timeline. They flew that garbage DNA overnight right to Idaho State Lab. They cultured it that day and then called back there. They did it all. Normally, that takes a long time. They really, really pressed it. They knew it was him. He had a gun. Okay, so he had a gun in the house. They had developed that information. That's why they did the dynamic entry. They boomed the door very early in the morning because they were afraid he might shoot it out with them. That's how they.
Oh, so they knew. That's interesting. Let me back that up.
PC. And they did it immediately. The chief gave me the timeline. They flew that garbage DNA overnight right to Idaho State Lab. They cultured it that day and then called back there. They did it all. Normally, that takes a long time. They really, really pressed it. They knew it was him. He had a gun. Okay, so he had a gun in the house. They had developed that information. That's why they did the dynamic entry. They boomed it.
That's interesting that they knew he had a gun in the house.
The door very early in the morning because they were afraid he might shoot it out with them. That's how they got him. So now they got him. He doesn't know what it's about. I mean, obviously he suspects, but they're not letting on. And so he was talking, but not about the murders. And when he ultimately twigged to the fact that the two cops who were talking to him were Idaho detectives, he immediately invoked, "I want a lawyer," and he shut down.
And Paul, there's still an investigation into the leaks.
There is. So we had heard that there might be an investigation. A judge had asked when all that stuff came down on another network, with including the audio, not just the video, the audio from the camera. There was an exterior camera in the house. That's the one that picked up the car. Ended up being so key. You and I walked that area. We couldn't find a camera. I asked him, let me guess, you took the camera? He goes, yeah, we took the whole apparatus. That's why it wasn't there. Remember, you and I were looking at that house. Right. So ultimately, it turns out that the material from that camera somehow or other, right up against trial, got leaked. Now, if you're the prosecutor, that's the last thing you want, right? You have evidence out in the public sphere. Now you have a collateral leak investigation going on. And the judge said, do you want me to appoint a special prosecutor? Somebody must have said yes, because that special prosecutor, and this was new to me, is working right now.
Wow.
And that prosecutor could, in fact, and it's a prosecutor, it's not an internal investigation, which means we could get another arrest coming out of this case relative to the leak.
Interesting. And they demolished the house, right? They
the
tore
house
it down.
is gone. The school ends up, the people who own the house donated the house to the school. The school wanted to knock it down. They got one stay, that is, the prosecution did, so that you could keep the evidence there in case it went to trial. You could walk the jury through it. Ultimately, they could only get the one stay. The school wanted to get rid of it because it became such a object of interest. And so ultimately, the school acquiesced. okay, we're going to knock it down. Excuse me, the judge acquiesced. They couldn't do it. They knocked it down. And now it's just a field with a sort of memorial that's in front.
Great job.
Well, thank you both.
Yeah, super interesting. Oh, that's true, Marie. The gun was probably registered to his dad. That makes sense. Patricia says, when they reported that he was wearing gloves at his house, I always said he was likely wearing them to hide wounds from his family. Yeah, and I mean, he could have scraped himself up, you know? Yeah, and they did say he wore gloves a lot, which is weird. I just think it's weird. Okay, so the last thing I've got for us is the body cam footage that was obtained by Law and Crime. And this is just kind of shows the atmosphere and what occurred there. The one thing that I felt the most was when officers first respond and see what's happened. Just the size, you can tell they're saying, like, I would assume they're saying fuck. Just the gravity of what's happening. Yeah, he is a creep. Everything about the dude is weird. Creepy. Yeah, he is. And he's gotten creepier and creepier.
Where's she at? Yep.
And so this time, oh crap, I can't see it. Let me just, so the time is 12 p.m. and 35 seconds. And I don't remember how long it took officers to arrive at the scene. It couldn't have been very long because the 911 call was only a few minutes before officers arrived.
Okay, stay back there, please.
And another thing I will say is that this officer, whoever this responding officer was, he was so kind and patient and understanding with everyone he spoke with. I don't remember who the first on scene was, but he was, I mean, he was just amazing.
Slow down. Just come here. There's two. Looks like fatalities. Dude. All right. Okay. Nobody's allowed to leave for now. Okay. Just stay here for me, please. You know okay. Here. Can you guys go over to the dumpster for me, please?
And I did just look up on the reports that were released. It was Officer Smith was the responding officer. Actually, no, he was the second one. Officer Nunes was the let's see, it says oh no, it says additional responding. So Officer Smith was the first on scene. And then based on that, I believe the one that was walking up the stairs was Officer Nunes. Or Nunes. I think it's Nunes.
Okay, let's clear it. Thanks for. Push over here. Okay. I'll just start down here. Police department. Police department.
Moscow Police Department, if you're in here, announce yourself. We got another. Moscow Police Department.
Dude. We're clear. Let me just secure the outside first. So.
Move to the front door.
There's a back entry. I was going to start taping it all off.
Brian's taping the outside off.
Okay.
Where's the other?
There's two right here. Okay, I got in there. Shut it down in there.
Yeah, lunatic, that's true. But they did have gloves on. So they wouldn't, leave their DNA, at least. I know the sighing, the single swear word. And like when he said, even when he just said, dude, like just that one word kind of expressed the gravity of the situation.
Check with the prints.
And I just want to go back a little. I didn't notice the first time I watched this, the sliding door was open.
There's nothing else out there. Do you want me to go back there and start IDing people? Okay, I'm gonna start IDing all of them.
And so I believe this is the fire department EMS who has arrived.
It's a
So they do redact quite a bit of it, but I understand why they did it. And I'm glad that they also blurred out or blocked out the surviving roommates' bedrooms as well, just to kind of protect their privacy.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
No, you're good.
Hang in there, brother. Okay.
And I believe that this, and this is just my belief, but I believe that this kid walking up is Hunter Chapin.
She screamed because someone's in the room. She ran downstairs, and I kept calling her name, and she wouldn't answer. And then I saw the guy. I actually locked the door, and I ran downstairs. We don't know what's going on.
Can you come here with me, please?
It's rough to hear, Evil Queen, especially when they're speaking to who I believe is Dylan. But the amount of detail and information that she is able to give this officer, like just the recall.
Break Fire 3170. Could you guys grab some blankets for all these people out here?
Oh, okay.
Nope. Just come over here with me, please.
And the other thing too that I had to keep telling myself is that at this point, Hunter Johnson is the only one who knows what happened to Xana and Ethan. He doesn't know about Kaylee and Maddie. But Hunter Johnson protected all of those kids. And he's just a kid himself.
Okay. Just give me 1 second, please. I'm going to get your name and information. Just 1 second. We'll get you a blanket and stuff, all right? Thanks, guys. Yeah, that'd be good for now, and then maybe the big white blankets whenever you move on. Actually, you guys probably just hang on to these whenever. Is that ambulance on its way? No, yes.
Lunatic, what do you mean what? Yeah, Lunatic, that Hunter Johnson who, you know, when you hear him on the phone say, get out, get out. And the other thing that I found, you know, with Hunter Johnson, when he first came into, well, actually, when he led officers up to the second floor, he immediately told them, I got this knife because I didn't know if the person was still here. Like, he disclosed it right away that the knife that was on that table was one that he got just to make sure that whoever did it still wasn't there. No, because he had only seen, because they had called about Xana not being able to wake up. So Hunter only knew about Xana and Ethan. He didn't know about Kaylee and Maddie. Yeah. And that's the thing that really struck me, is that Dylan actually asks about Kaylee and Maddie. And the officer, you know, I'm sure they were in shock too. These officers had never seen something like this. He handled it with grace.
Okay. Who would like a blanket right now? It's temporary. Anybody like one for your feet to stand on? Okay. I'll let you. Thanks, man. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, if that anymore shows up, that'd be great. Could you grab some blankets? Yeah, 1 second, man. Let me just grab all your guys' info. They're warmer. Okay. I know she was barefoot, so I was hoping to get something for her, but thank you very much. Thanks, boss. Okay, what's your last name? And your first name? And your middle name? What's a good phone number to reach you? Okay, and is this your address?
Yes.
What's that address?
1122 King Road.
Is your driver's license right?
Yes.
Okay. How much have you seen on that?
No, I don't really know. I just saw my friend when I called because we were so scared. Like, can you please come help us? And that's all I saw. Told us not to go in. That man right there. That helped show you around.
They're big on there.
Yeah, and that's when he told us he needed to call the cops.
Okay. Do you mind just waiting over there for me, please? Okay. Now I overheard you talking about last night.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't have to, the more we know right now, the better. We can start this process.
Yeah.
Somebody will probably be revisiting this interview with you very soon. Again, okay? So you're probably going to have to retell the story quite a bit.
That's fine.
All right. What do you remember seeing? What started?
I remember I was in my room and I was trying to go to bed and I heard Kaylee, who ex-girlfriend who has a dog in her.
Real fast. Which one is your room?
Kaylee.
Which one is your room?
Oh,
what room are you in? You were in that room?
My room, not Xana's room. My room.
And your room is this one right here?
Next to the stairs. That one is Xana's room.
Second floor room.
Second floor.
Okay.
All I heard was I heard go upstairs. Like, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep now because she's going upstairs.
And you heard who go upstairs?
Kaylee and the dog Murphy.
And upstairs to the very top?
Yeah, that's where her room is.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden I heard her walking up. I heard her scream, and she ran downstairs because she saw someone. That's what I'm pretty sure she said. Someone's here, and she screamed and just ran downstairs. And I called for her name, but I jumped up and locked my door because I was so scared. And then I heard someone in the bathroom, and I heard her crying, and I heard some guy say that you're gonna be okay. I'm gonna help you. And I kept calling calling her name, but she wasn't answering. And then I opened the door for a second, and I saw this guy, and he was not insanely tall, but he was wearing all black and like this mask, which is covering his forehead and his mouth.
Anybody see the dog? Murphy was... Do you mean at this point? Because Murphy was ultimately found cowered underneath a desk in Kaylee's room. And I do believe that when Dylan says that Kaylee ran downstairs and said somebody's here, I don't think it was Kaylee because Kaylee was sleeping. But I could be wrong. Maybe Kaylee did hear someone and she ran back up and pretended to be sleeping. I think it might have been Xana, but I don't know. It is really sad.
And I locked the door and I called, and I didn't know what to do.
This was at 4
a.m. Yes. Okay. And so then I just ran down.
You left here.
I left my room down to room. She's that one with the white blinds at the very bottom. Okay. I ran down there and we talked, and we just locked the door. We didn't think anything of it. We're like, nothing happens in Moscow, so we just like tried to go to bed. And then we woke up, and it was weird because none of our roommates were up,
And I found it interesting that she said nothing happens in Moscow. So we just went to bed.
Called all of them. We're not waking up. And so me and like, this is weird. So I called and to come over, and then that's when all this happened.
Who all lives here with you?
Me. That one right there. Okay.
Who's Xana?
Xana is the girl in there.
Is the girl that lives this floor?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you spell her name?
Xana.
Do you know if she has a middle name?
Alexis, I think.
Do you know what her last name is?
Kernodal. K. I don't know how to spell it really. K. You know? R-N-O-D-L.
K-A-E-R.
K-E-R.
K-E-R.
N-O.
N-O.
L-E.
D-L-E. Okay.
X-A-N-A.
X-A-N-A. Okay.
Ethan, who's in there, he doesn't actually live here, but he's here like almost all the time.
There's a male that lives here, and
he doesn't actually live here. He's in the room with Xana, I believe.
He's in there right now.
But he doesn't live here, but he's here a lot. And then there's...
And mind you, they still don't know. They think that officers are helping Xana and Ethan.
Maddie, Mogan, and Kaylee up top. I don't know where they're at now.
Maddie.
Mogan. Maddie Mogan and
Maddie Mogan.
Yeah.
And who?
Kaylee Goncalves. She's the girl that I was talking about, Kaylee, who I just heard go upstairs and then run back downstairs.
Okay. And the guy that lives here, his name was what? He's usually
Ethan.
Ethan. And you knew he was here this morning?
No, I didn't know. I had no idea he was here.
Okay. All right, describe the guy that you saw.
I don't think he was a little bit taller than me, and I couldn't really see much of him, but I'm almost positive he was wearing a full black outfit, and he had this mask that was just over his forehead and over his mouth, and he didn't say anything to me, like at all. I just shut the door and locked it because I didn't know what to do, and I think he went out like the side door, the sliding door in the kitchen that goes out to the backyard.
Okay.
And then I didn't know anything else, so I called, and I was like, I just need to come downstairs and find you because I don't know where anyone else is. And I called Maddie, I called Dana, I called Kaylee, no one would answer.
Okay. All right. For Xana, do you know how old she is?
She's 20.
Is she in a sorority house?
Yeah, not anymore.
Okay. She's a student at UVI?
Yes.
Do you have any contact information for her parents?
No.
It's okay. Well,
okay.
we can get that eventually.
Her dad's name.
And then Ethan. E-T-H-A-N.
And Chapin, C-H-A-P-I-N.
Hey, real fast. She's saying this morning around 4, there's a guy, black mask, was in there. She didn't recognize him. She heard girls screaming upstairs. She got scared, locked herself in the room, and then the screaming all stopped. She's pretty sure that this masked person went out that back. Okay. And right now I'm getting all different information. She knows the other 2 girls are up there. I haven't told her who's deceased or anything like that. They have 4 people that are unaccounted for right now. Which,
Whose dog?
whose dog? Who owns a dog? Okay.
Tyson as well, and
Okay. Since she knows a bunch of the people who are living here, I'm getting all their names, and then I'll finish collecting all their information. Okay. How old is Ethan?
I apologize. There's a door downstairs next to the bathroom that's got a padlock on or a lock on it. You guys?
We don't know.
Okay. Who has access to that room? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not something you guys normally run.
No, we have no idea what it is.
Thank you guys.
Okay. So Ethan, how old is Ethan?
I believe he just turned 20.
20. And it's Chapin, Chapin.
Yes, I believe.
Okay. Do you happen to know either of their date of birth?
No, I know knows Sienna's date of birth.
Okay. No worries. And Ethan's also a U of I student?
Yes, he is.
And you don't see him here right now? You see, but I'm pretty sure he was in that room.
I think so. I think it's left told me. I don't know for sure.
All right. And then the 2 additional roommates that aren't here right now,
They're not.
that aren't here with you,
Yeah.
what are their names?
Maddie Mogan, MADDIEMOGEN. And then Kaylee, KAYLEE. Goncalves, GONCLAVES. I think that's how you spell it.
How old is Maddie?
21. Or 21 or 22. I can't remember. They're both 12 or 21, but I don't know exactly.
I think so. How old is Kaylee?
Over 21. I believe she's 21 or 22. Sorry, I don't fully remember.
That's okay. You're doing great.
Thanks.
Okay. I'm asking a lot of you.
And I love that the officer said, "It's okay, you're doing great." Like, just he constantly, he kept his voice calm. He reassured her. And I was just thinking, like, I just noticed that they had the crime scene tape up around the whole house now. So I feel like they probably know something's happening, but they don't know the extent of what's happening. CC is really off. Yeah. I mean, it's decent at least. Oh, sure, curious. Yeah, and you wouldn't think that your friends were just unalived. Yeah.
So I appreciate you. You're doing,
Yeah,
doing very well.
thanks for being here.
Do you know if the other 2 girls are upstairs or not?
Right now, what we got to do is we got to process this whole thing.
That makes sense.
I don't know what I'd be permitted to tell you
That's fine.
right
That's
now. Okay.
fine. I understand.
Okay, let's go back. I just want to make sure we're getting everything. So you're sure at about 4 this morning?
Yes, it was 4:10.
You first noticed a guy.
Well, I first noticed Kaylee go upstairs and scream and run downstairs.
So 4 this morning, went upstairs
Yeah.
to the way top.
Yes, to her room with Murphy the dog.
Okay.
And
And
then
then you heard Kaylee scream.
I heard her scream and run as fast as she could downstairs, and she said someone's here.
She ran downstairs.
Yes, I could hear. You can hear everything. I heard her run downstairs really fast, and then I heard Murphy barking a lot.
Okay.
And then I heard her going to I think it was the bathroom, and I remember her sobbing And I just remember hearing this guy's voice, and I didn't recognize saying, "You're gonna be okay, I'm gonna help you." But it wasn't like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it wasn't in like a nice way. It was like a weird way, like a weird tone.
You're gonna be okay. I'm gonna help you.
Yeah.
And you didn't hear anything from Kaylee anymore at that
No,
point?
after that, I didn't hear anything. So then I kept calling for her name. I called on my phone, I called Xana, Maddie, and Kaylee. None of them answered. So then I opened up the door to look, and that's when I saw the guy pass by. He looked at me, but he didn't come towards me or say anything, which was really confusing to me. I don't understand that. And I'm pretty sure he went out the side door. And then I called and said she thought maybe there was a fire or like a firework. We didn't know. She heard this loud noise and there was a light, I guess.
Did you hear like a pop, like a bang?
I don't know. Did you hear a bang?
It's what she heard.
Okay.
That's what she heard.
Okay, never mind. You sit there. I didn't hear that.
Hey, where are you going right now?
I'm just going to pick up my phone.
Okay. Where's your friend live? To the left, please.
Yeah, I can roll.
Okay.
I don't think I ever heard a bang. I didn't think anything about fire or firework.
Or
until
gunshot.
I told her. I don't think I heard anything of that, but I also was kind of in and out of it because I was so scared and I was really tired. And that's when I called and I told her, I need to come to your room because she was the only one that was answering me. So I just ran down there, and for a second I stopped and I saw Xana passed out, and I thought maybe she was just like sleeping or something. I didn't think anything because I was so out of it. And I went into the room and we just fell asleep. And then we woke up this morning and no one was waking up at all. Like no one was answering, which was really weird because all of us wake up around like 9 or 10. And then I called to come check, and he came here first. And I told him what happened, and then I looked in the room and he said they needed to get out and call the cops.
Okay. The guy that you saw, and it was dark, right? Or were there lights on in the house?
I think there were lights on in the house, I believe.
Okay.
I don't really know what he looked like because he had a mask, but he wasn't like super tall.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'10". I think it was maybe my height an inch or two higher or lower. I can't really remember.
Hey, Legally Blonde. The firework noise was BK's car speeding off. That could be. Right, in the flash, like Bethany had said, she saw a flash of light. Patricia says BK was likely in a huge adrenaline funk and didn't even connect that there was somebody else there. I agree with you. I don't think he ever saw her.
So about 6 foot.
I think so. Around there.
How was he built? Fat, skinny, stocky?
More like skinny, but like basketball player kind of skinny. Like not too skinny, but like almost fit skinny in a way. That's what I think. I don't know for sure.
And then the voice, he said, when he said those words, you didn't recognize that voice before.
I didn't recognize him or his voice. I mean, I also couldn't see him, but I didn't recognize that voice at all. Didn't even cross my mind if that could be.
Did you guys have a party last night too? Or?
Not tonight, but there was and we had like a formal thing beforehand. That was 2 days ago.
Okay. Is there anything that popped out about that event that was concerning?
No, I mean, I went to Kitten. He is like Xana and her dating, and Xana went there. I was there for a little bit, and then I went to my friend's house down the street, and then I came back home with my friend. Everything was fine. Nothing weird at all. Nothing suspicious until 4 a.m.
Okay. All right. don't think I have any more questions for you right now.
Okay, if you do
Somebody else will.
Okay, sounds good.
So let's grab that. Let's go back over there.
Okay.
All right, who else lives here? Can I get your last name, please? Okay. Hey.
It's his brother's walking up this way.
Okay, do you mind hanging out here, please?
You know, I'm actually shocked that they haven't shut down the road yet. I mean, maybe they didn't want to draw too much attention, but I don't know. I just think it's weird that they didn't shut down the road. Oh, that's a good point. The vandal alert. They all get the vandal alert around this time. I don't think it's on the cam footage, though.
You said. Okay. Can you spell that for me? Do you have a middle name? What's your date of birth? What's a good phone number to reach you at?
So I did just Google. It says the initial vandal alert went out at 1:04 p.m. Let me just see if it says something different. Okay, so actually the 1:04 p.m. vandal alert was Moscow PD investigating a homicide on King Road near campus. But wasn't there one that went out before that about an unconscious person? I can't remember.
And then is your driver's license through what state? What state is your driver's license through? Do you have a room that's assigned to you here? When you go in?
Okay, there were two.
No one else lives with me.
Were you here last night? Okay. Is it okay if you walk over to my car with me and we can talk over there? Okay. I'll tell you the same thing I told her. She was probably going to be talking to a lot of people, retelling the same story. So.
Am I still allowed to go home soon?
Lunatic, I don't believe that was him telling them that they're dead, because there's one part at the end where he says something to I don't know who it was, some other official, law enforcement or otherwise, comes up, and so they might be inferring that because there's no ambulance coming. You know, like they got blankets from the ambulance, but the ambulance isn't there. You're welcome, Legally Blonde. Thank you for doing this with grace. I do know that parents watch true crime, especially Xana's mom, Kara. It's so hard for her to watch people spread misinformation. And, well, I guess that's why I'm a math teacher. You know, I see black and white. I don't see gray. It either is or it isn't.
We can't hold you forever. Okay. So we'll cross that bridge when it gets there, and the detectives will work with you guys to get a hold of you however we best can. Okay.
Right, curious. They turned to EMS away. And I wonder, I mean, even, you know, some of the other kids who are there seeing the fire department and EMS walking up the street, and then even the officer didn't even really say, he just said, yeah, you know, like basically you can go. Like just so much discretion with this officer. I can't give him enough praises.
So you worked here last night. What time frame were you here through now? Were you here the whole time?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. What time did you get here last night?
Can I check?
Yeah. And while you do that, I'll turn off my lights here. I'll be right back. I forgot you were here, man. Do you still want to hang out here?
I just want to know what's going on.
Yeah. I don't know how much I'm allowed to disclose right now. We're processing what's going on in the scene. As soon as we know for sure, we can tell you guys what's going on. We absolutely will. I know it sucks to be in the dark with this, but okay. And what's your relationship again?
And I believe that this is Hunter Chapin in the car. And I don't even remember seeing him get into the car. So it could be that another officer who was out of frame got him into the car, but I don't remember him ever getting in the car.
Okay. Yeah, man. As soon as I know we're able to fill you in on what's going on, we'll let you know. Okay. Like I said, you're welcome to get out at any point. If you want to hang out in here, you can because it's warm. If not, if you want to hang out with them, you're gonna hang out outside too. Okay. Tell you what, I'll just crack the door. I'll try to not lock it on you. So if you maybe get water. We can start. Yeah, we can see if somebody can bring some of that stuff by. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so what time were you here last night?
About like 1:24 or something in the morning.
Today?
Yeah.
1:24 you got here? Okay, what was going on at about 1:24?
Me and my friend watching Vampire Diaries on the couch.
You and... Okay. Watching Vampire Diaries.
Glow, he isn't. And Hunter is actually sitting right here. And the reason I know that is because Hunter only had flip-flops on with no socks, and he's much skinnier, whereas Hunter Chapin was wearing the similar clothing, but he had socks on with sandals. So Hunter Johnson is the one sitting right here. So it was the shoes, because I thought that too initially, but I'm like, his legs look awfully athletic for Hunter Johnson. So I went back and Hunter Johnson had flip-flops, whereas Hunter Chapin, who I believe is Hunter Chapin, had socks and sandals on. I wondered that, Legally Blonde, because I'm almost done with the book, and he had called his mom pretty quickly. But at this point, Maisie isn't here yet. So, and that makes sense. Like, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
And then she's just one of my friends. I'm sitting over there. I just thought,
oh, okay. All female.
yes.
All right. Okay, so you guys watching Vampire Diaries out in this the second level? Okay, and then for how long?
I don't know. And then Maddie and Kayla came home from the club. And then we all hung out in Kayla's room for a little.
So Maddie and Kaylee were at the club.
Yeah.
You know how long they were there? Probably till closing at least.
I don't know. They went to drug truck afterwards.
Drug truck. Okay, and then they came home at about what time? It's okay. You're doing great.
Oh, that's okay, Glow. I actually thought the same thing. Like, I've seen mixed responses. A lot of people are saying it's Hunter Johnson. But I made sure by just looking at what shoes they were wearing, and Hunter Johnson is a lot lankier than Hunter Chapin.
So they did get home at 2?
Yes.
How do you know that?
I just have a picture of Kaylee's room with Murphy.
Okay, then what happened after that?
And then me and Maddie took out Murphy, and then
Murphy's the dog?
yeah,
Okay.
and then I went inside to go to bed, and she was still taking him out. And then I was in my bed, like, about to go to sleep, and Maddie just said that she loves Murphy. Like, she was, like, and was wondering if he was with me, and I just said no. And then I went to bed.
And what time do you think you fell asleep?
Maybe 2:30, 3.
Okay, what time did you wake up at all between 2 and...
I heard something, like, loud, and Murphy, like, barked. And usually, like, he barks at things. And then I thought I saw, like, a firecracker, so I thought someone maybe was just drunk and then put a firecracker in the house. But I wasn't even really sure because I was kind of still asleep, so I wasn't sure if it was, like, real.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I had listening to a couple things at a time. Loud, you thought you saw a firecracker because of a quick flash?
Yeah, through, like, my door, but I was, like, still half asleep, so I don't know if it was, like, real or not. I thought it was maybe a dream.
Okay. And then, did you ever, like, pick up your phone to see what time it was? Or?
Okay. Oh, maybe I might have called her and asked her what was happening, because sometimes we hear things and I'll call her and be like, oh, what was happening? She's just sleeping.
And just to, I knew there was something in the book that I was reading to kind of about the whole car thing. And crap, now I lost the page. Hold on a second. So according to Stacy Chapin, Hunter called her using Maisie's phone, and Mrs. Chapin can hear wailing in the background, and that's when Hunter told her Ethan's not here anymore. So it would have been after Maisie gets there, and she's not there yet. She comes at the very end when I'm going to end the video when she arrives. So that's what's in the book, according to Stacy Chapin.
Okay.
Do you guys recognize all these vehicles in here? Yeah. I tried to call Maddie and Ethan and Xana and all them at like 4:20.
So you called
I tried to call
Maddie? At what time?
4:30 and 4:22. And then 4:21.
Okay.
And then Ethan at 4:22. And then Carrie at 4:31. I thought they were close.
4:31?
Yeah.
So no answer, and then did you go to sleep after that?
Yeah, I just kind of fell asleep again. I was like half awake.
Okay, and then what throughout your day did you got up at what time today?
I like woke up because my jaw was feeling really bad. I took some Advil at like 6 or 7, and then I just went back to bed. So I figured no one would be up anyways. And like, I didn't wake up until we called you guys.
Okay. Moscow 70, could I get the time this call was generated? Copy, thank you. All right. Do you remember seeing anybody in there that wouldn't belong?
Downstairs the whole time with my door locked. That's why I was sitting there. So I get scared. I didn't really hear anything either. I thought they were just being like loud and making things.
Pretty typical.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any parent contact information for?
I know Maddie.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no. I know her boyfriend.
Okay. What's Maddie's boyfriend's name?
You know the last name.
Is anybody having any issues with any boys?
Mm-hmm. He lives in Boise.
Okay. So he wouldn't be up here right now. And then I was talking to you about the formal stuff, right?
No, that was.
Those are okay. So you guys had a formal.
The letters were formal yesterday. Yeah.
No issues.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Everybody got along. All right. And you were out here when I rolled up.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I don't know if I have any other questions for you right now. Okay. I appreciate that you did very well recalling as things become more clear. Write them down or something so you don't forget. Sound like a good plan? Like I said, some other people are going to be talking here. And then we'll make sure everybody has the detective's case number or the detective information and so that you can reach out to us if anything comes to mind and not just wait for us to reach out to you. That makes sense? Okay. Physically, are you doing fine otherwise? Okay. All right, we'll go back there. Thank you very much. Does anybody else live here? Okay. Who, by show of hands, who was all here when I got here? Sorry to talk to you too. Okay. All right.
Summer, have you read the Idaho State Police documents that were released this past week? I just downloaded them. I started reading them, but it's like a lot.
1 second. So, Maddie and Kaylee were at the club last night. They got grub truck after. Don't know if they ran into anybody that maybe had issues there. They just set a formal the other day when without a hitch. There's no issues at formal. So that there's nobody that they should be having bad blood. Mm-hmm. So obviously follow up need to be done at the club and the grub truck at the very least. I did a very preliminary interview with the two people that live here and that were here last night. Everybody else I'm about to identify was not here last night, but was here in the parking area when I rolled up. So I'll just get that information. Perfect.
Anybody asked, is any of these cars belong to these guys?
Ryan asked, sounds like they recognize all these vehicles to include some of the ones down there.
If they ask, these can leave for the time being.
Okay.
We need to start, once Tyson gets here, we'll start figuring out how to get them somewhere along.
Yeah. A couple of them did ask about like bottles of water or something. I don't know if there's anybody logistically that can work that out. We can call EMS.
I have a couple bottles in the car.
Okay. I know would be willing to help out however they can.
Okay, I'll go grab those out of my car.
Okay.
And then
they keep asking, what's the status of all four people? I don't tell them we're figuring it out.
They all know.
If they ask, dude. Okay. Hi, what's your name? What? Okay. Mind just hanging out with them for a second?
All right. And that's where I ended it. The rest of the body cam is the officer talking with other officers, talking about should we close the road? Should we, keep traffic out? So you can find it on Law and Crime if you wanted to see the whole thing. I will say I noticed things this time when I was listening and watching that I didn't before. It's really, really sad. And not, the officer not being able to tell them anything, I feel like was really hard for him as well, because the people aren't walking out. And I thought the other thing that really got me is when they walked Murphy out of the house and you see Murphy kind of look back and, at the kids and, they take him away. I mean, that poor dog, being in that house scared, it's a lot. It is definitely a lot. So that's all I got for you today. I did see that I believe it's Maddie Mogan's mom Actually, let's read this quick and then we'll go. They have filed a suit over the crime scene photos being released. So this was August 19th. So Wednesday? Was that it? Wednesday? So the families of 2 victims in the Bryan Kohberger case are suing Moscow, Idaho to stop release of crime scene photos. A judge granted a temporary restraining order halting the release of images from the victims' bedrooms. The city of Moscow released nearly 200 photos last week, prompting legal action from the families. And so that's why I found it interesting that Law and Crime got the body cam, but the body cam isn't crime scene photos. So I think that might be why they were able to do so. The families of two of Bryan Kohberger's victims are suing the city of Moscow for releasing photos of the gruesome crime scene. Okay, I don't care about Kohberger. So Fox 13 reporter Shira Metsuzawa spoke with attorney Leander James, who represents the families of Mogan and Chapin. James said the lawsuit was filed on behalf of the 2 families. He filed an injunction asking a judge to order the city of Moscow to stop releasing photos and body camera footage from Mogan's bedroom where she and Goncalves were murdered. He also filed a temporary restraining order, an emergency filing that allows a judge to immediately pause the release of certain materials. In this case, the judge granted the order, agreeing with the families that the release of the images would be an unwarranted invasion of personal privacy. That means the photos will not be released until a hearing on the injunction takes place. This legal action comes after the city of Moscow released nearly 200 photos from the King Road home last week. James told Fox 13 Seattle that the families received no advance notice from the city about the release of those images. While such notice isn't required, it is typically provided. When the door was shut behind Mr. Kohberger and he went to prison for the rest of his life, my, Karen Scott felt like they could take a deep breath and start to move on with their lives. And it was a positive day, said attorney Leander James. And unfortunately, this prospect of the death scene images of their child being thrown out there to the world has visited them with a great deal of work and has sent them back again. James said he reached out to the city before filing the lawsuit, but they couldn't reach an agreement. Images are powerful emotional triggers, and I'm just one attorney. I can only do as much as I can do. I'm trying to stop what I can. I kind of feel like, honestly, I feel like I am standing in front of a flood coming at me with a Dixie cup. The injunction hearing was originally scheduled for Thursday, but James said he received a request from the city on Tuesday afternoon to postpone it. For those who are criticizing us for stopping the release of further images, I'd ask them to search their hearts to look at what's the right thing to do and what the legal thing is to do. A full press release from the city of Moscow regarding the temporary restraining order can be found below. Okay, so on August 12th, the city of Moscow was served notice of a petition to the Latah County District Court for a temporary restraining order and injunction to prevent the release of additional public records to the state of Idaho versus Bryan Kohberger on behalf of Karen Laramie, the mother of Madison Mogan. This action followed the recent release of redacted crime scene photos by the city of Moscow in response to a legal public records request. On August 15th, 2025, Idaho 2nd District Judge Marshall issued a temporary restraining order prohibiting the city's release of any images, audio, or video depicting the inside of Madison Mogan's bedroom until a hearing on the preliminary injunction may be held. Judge Marshall found that major portions of what had been released did not constitute an unwarranted invasion of privacy. However, Judge Marshall stated that there are portions of videos and photographs in their redacted form specifically including unreleased body cam video that could constitute an unwarranted invasion of privacy at this time. While the temporary restraining order only applied to Madison Mogen's bedroom, the city will not provide any further releases of photographs or videos depicting the inside of any of the victims' bedrooms until the matter is fully reviewed and decided by the court. Okay, so that could be how, excuse me, Law and Crime was able to get the body cam, because they redacted all of the victims' bedrooms. They blacked them all out. I don't know. Possibly. I know. Well, I don't think they were released. I think it's the ones that were released that we've seen online. And the Idaho State Police just released all of their photos and documents as well. So I think it was, there was one image of Maddie's bedroom that I feel should not have been released. But there wasn't, they blurred things out, but even there was some photos of Xana's room that I hadn't realized were they had been released unredacted, and that some creators had redacted it themselves. And I was like, man, they really should have not released that. So, yeah, Nanny, it's tough to watch. I think I watched it, today's Saturday. So it must have been Thursday. I think it was Thursday when I saw it. I'm just going to look quick. And I'll actually drop the link in chat if anybody wants to watch it. Oh, here it is, right here, in front of my face. Okay, and here is the link to Law and Crime. Excuse me. And I did also see that they released information about those who were killed in the tour bus rollover in just outside of Buffalo, New York. One of them was a student at Columbia. There were 3 people from New Jersey, and dang it, I don't remember the 5th person. Let me just look real quick. I literally just saw a local news update. But I can definitely talk about that on my next live. But I remember it was a student from Columbia, 3 people from New Jersey, and then there was another person. Hey, Grain. Yes. Lunatic. I am planning on doing it. It's just there's been so many news stories happening that I just don't have time to do both. And I have to do it eventually because school starts in just over a week. So I'm going to have even less time. So we'll have to figure out a time. I do have the book because I think was it you, Lunatic, that actually recommended this? I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I do have it, and I've had it for a week now, and it's just there's just so many news stories that I just, I don't have enough time. All right, y'all. So I am planning on going live tomorrow. I don't know exactly, well, probably 4:30 Eastern, but I think we're doing something for my mom because her birthday was this past weekend. It is the weekend. This past week. So I don't know what time that is, but I will definitely be going live tomorrow. I just don't know what time. I'm going to plan for 4:30, but it may be different. I know, curious school already. It was fast. I was like, this morning I woke up and I'm like, I really don't want to go back to work. Like, I've really enjoyed my summer. And I just, I went to this family gathering a few weeks ago. One of my uncles was like, you're already thinking about retirement? I'm like, of course I am. I mean, technically I could retire in 4 years. But I'm going for 30 years. So I've got 14 years left and then I can retire. So anyways. Yeah. Oh, really, Pookie? Your dad's birthday's on Monday? Well, happy birthday to your dad. All right, y'all. I'm going to go because it's been almost 3 hours and I am getting very antsy. So thanks so much for being here. I do appreciate it. If you haven't hit that like, please do so on your way out. If you have watched this and gotten through the entire live, #replay. And until next time, y'all, I will see you on the flip side.
You have one shot on stage, what you got to play. Generic drops for days, still the people rage. Am I not insane? Can you stop and explain why these drops are so lame? Is money buying you fame? I'm fucking on, I'm killing it with this song. You haters can sing along or go back where you belong. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with giving up, moving on. Cause I took your girl to prom, she can't help but sing this song. Comes off till the lights go out, till my legs give out. Can't shut my mouth till the smoke clears out. Am I high harassed? I'ma rip this shit till my bones collapse. Till the roof comes off, till the lights go out, till my legs give out. Can't shut my mouth till the smoke clears out. Am I high harassed? I'ma rip this shit till my bones collapse. She's so on like a light switch, flirting back. There's nothing wrong with the way that she's working that. I just want that body bad, come on baby, bring it back. I'm so gone, faded off a 30 rack. She's so on like a light switch, flirting back. There's nothing wrong with the way that she's working that. I just want that body bad, come on baby, bring it back. I rap with a passion, yeah, I got it in me. I've been waiting quite a long time for y'all to hear me. It's about damn time you put some stock into me. You're either sponsoring me or fucking bothering me. And the fact is, we just practice on this madness. That is why your status is like a canvas. Chances our advancement is enhancing, and this new expansion's like a mansion. Comes off till the lights go out, till my legs give out. Can't shut my mouth till the smoke clears out. Am I high harassed? I'ma rip this shit till my bones collapse. Till the roof comes off, till the lights go out, till my legs give out. Can't shut my mouth till the smoke clears out. Am I high harassed? I'ma rip this shit till my bones collapse.